been 1 month since the Olympic torch burned out, and the Paralympics just ended a few days ago, marking the end of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games of 2021. Looking ahead, we have many host cities laid out, from Beijing to Paris to Milano Cortina d'Ampezzo to Los Angeles, even to Brisbane up to 2032. You may have noticed that one of the years on this timetable is missing. Yes, the IOC International Olympic Committee has not yet chosen a host for the 2030 Winter Olympics. So let's look at a few cities/regions vying for the spot. There is, at the current moment, many cities that have expressed some sort of interest in hosting. But I'm going to be narrowing in on 4. Sapporo, Japan, Salt Lake City, United States, Barcelona-Pyrenees, Spain, France, Andorra, and Vancouver, Canada. Sapporo was the first city to publish a bid and is the most advanced in the bidding process. IOC President Thomas Bach said the city would organize an excellent Winter Games. He's even spoken with a city delegation. Also helping the city get the bid is in the 2020 Olympics, with the dismay of the organizers in Tokyo, Sapporo hosted the marathon and race walking events. The mayor of Sapporo said that the IOC president told him that we showed we are able to not only host a Winter Olympics, but a Summer Games. Sapporo hosted all the way back in 1978 and decided to switch its bid from 2026 to 2030 due to an earthquake in 2018. Salt Lake City hosted in 2002 amidst one of the biggest scandals in Olympic history. The city was chosen by the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee over Denver and Reno to be their candidate. The infrastructure from 2002 is still in proper condition to host the Olympics. The president of the Salt Lake City, Utah Committee for the Games, Fraser Bullock, said that 2030 is under very serious consideration right now. One of the biggest hurdles to Salt Lake hosting the Games in 2030 instead of, say, 2034 is that the Los Angeles Games happen to be scheduled for 2028. Having the Olympics back-to-back in the same country might make it more difficult for Salt Lake to find domestic sponsors. And the Games have never been hosted back-to-back in the same country since the 2-year summer to winter cycle. With that in mind, the fact that Sapporo has submitted its bid, and in my opinion, the biggest hurdle. This strange article from a Salt Lake City media outlet, stolen from Al Jazeera, about a big Olympic fish. Apparently, I am the only person on this website that's read it. And it said the IOC president is the front runner to win the 2021 gold medal in cognitive dissonance. Because of all that, but especially the last part, Olympic officials have not yet decided whether they will bid for 2030 or 2034. Barcelona-Pyrenees was the third and final city/region to be considered a city of interest by the International Olympic Committee back in early 2020. Unlike the 1992 Games hosted in Barcelona, Barcelona-Pyrenees would see the Games span Spain, France, and Andorra. And even though it has gotten support from the governments in Spain, Aragon, and Catalonia, there's been some problems. You would think that an international event would have some arguments from the 3 countries involved, but the arguments have actually come from governments in Spain. The region of Aragon's leader, Javier Lambon, has already said he is set to withdraw his region's participation. Spanish Olympic Committee President Alejandro Blanco said, "We are going to present a candidacy that covers the Aragonese and Catalan Pyrenees, with the government of Spain and with the coordination of the COE. But that would require having the government in Aragon to cooperate." The mayor of Barcelona has demanded for the public to be consulted. The coalition partners governing Catalonia are reportedly at odds with who's going to be consulted. And all of that leads us to the next problem. Does the public here even want it? Because while there has been clear signs of support, a group called Plataforma Stop JJOO, which stands for Stop Juegos Olímpicos, which, side note, does seem like its acronym should be Stop JGOO, since I don't know where the second J comes from, but I digress, I don't speak Spanish. The group said no matter how they disguise them, no matter how green they make their lies look, the Winter Olympics are not, nor will they be, sustainable. The group is planning on protesting in northern Catalonia, and these are problems that do need to be solved. Alejandro Blanco said the 2030 Olympics and Paralympics depends on political unity, and without it, the candidacy for the games will freeze. That's also actually pretty funny because it's the Winter Olympics and it'll freeze and you get it. Vancouver is the last city I'm going to be talking about, and what appears to be the only city with an official logo and slogan, Reignite the Passion. They even have their own website. Hosting back in 2010, Vancouver has kept the infrastructure maintained to host the games. A poll conducted by not just people in Vancouver, but the whole province of British Columbia found that if no public money was used, support for the Olympics sits at 77%. And even with public money being used, support sits at 55%. John Herlong, the Vancouver 2010 Winter Olympic Games Organizing Committee CEO, has said that the idea would be to run the event with private sector partners, meaning the only cost to the public would be security, which in the last games did cost $1 billion. The scare for Vancouver would actually be snowfall. Back in 2010, with an unexpectedly dry and warm season, Vancouver had to truck in snow. And with climate change, 2030 is not looking more promising. And just a little side tangent, after 2010, the Olympic Village was apparently a ghost town. And when one liquor store owner who moved in 2011 was asked about it, he said that scouts were science fiction films were attracted to the area's deserted look. And some of his first customers were actors in alien and vampire costumes. Which means that theoretically, there was a time in Vancouver where you could have said, oh look, there's an alien drinking whiskey beside the 5.5 meter or 18-foot tall bird. So who's most likely to win? Well, to be honest, it's hard to say. The pick for 2030 is expected to be chosen either at the 2022 IOC session in Beijing or the 2023 session in Mumbai. A city wanting to host will need to accommodate everything in this 300-page report, including close to 24,000 rooms, and in the Summer Games, that number is closer to 41,000. 26 requirements just on branding or the look. Making sure to not have a blackout in the world's largest sporting event. Making sure no one's dying of dehydration, and others. There's also the IOC's new process for selecting host cities. It wants Olympic projects that are less expensive and that maximize operational efficiencies, with a strong emphasis on legacy and sustainability. In this report, the IOC said several times how simplified, cost-effective, flexible, and sustainable they are making it. They even said the IOC has positioned itself as the vanguard of innovation and development, which all seems to mean that the IOC wants cities that already have a lot of the infrastructure ready to host the Olympics. So, who do you think will win? Sapporo, Salt Lake City, Barcelona-Pyrenees, Vancouver, or maybe some other city I haven't brought up? Let everyone know in the comments. And for the answer to that question, we're just gonna have to wait. Yeah, it probably wouldn't be good to be in the middle of the Olympics and being like, whoops, blackout.